Hello guys, welcome to Malik 034 channel. This is Malik Arjun. This is a continuous series of videos on Oracle Grid Infrastructure installation and configuration, and then on top of that, Oracle RAC database installation and configuration. So I already uploaded Oracle VirtualBox setup video, and today I'm going to install on OEL. So I'm going to install OEL5, OEL6, OEL7, and OEL8, all these 4 versions in one shot, and then I'm going to create some custom partitions, swap, and get additional CD images, and then installing some prerequisites RPMs, and then configuring my etc host. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I already uploaded Oracle VirtualBox setup like 01. So this video is going to be on 02. So you guys follow this series of videos so that you will be understanding all this complete series of 13 videos for entire rack setup of all the version 11G, 12C, and 19C. I'm going to install this clusterware of 11G, 12C, and 19C, and then I'm going to create a database of 11G, 12C, and 19C. So it is going to be complete pack of video series. So it will be very helpful, guys. So before I get started with the installation, so if you are new to my channel, always go back to YouTube and search for Malik 034, and then please do subscribe. And if you like my videos, please share, like, and comment. Let's get started with the today's session, installation of OEL. So let me open my VirtualBox. Okay, so I will cover it one more time. So already covered in my VirtualBox session. So you need to type any name you can give. I'll go with OEL5 node 1, and then I'm going to create it under my D drive. OEL5 node 1, and then it's going to be Linux Oracle 64-bit, and I'm going to give around 4 GB of RAM. Create next dynamic allocation, and then I'll give around 200 GB. It is not going to use 200 GB in one shot. Whenever it needed, it will use 200 GB. Whenever needed space, it will use it from my D drive. So click on the settings. So these are settings going to be common for all the versions, OEL 5, 6, 7, 8, all the versions. Whatever the setting I'm doing, it's going to be common for everything, all the versions. So it is going to be bidirectional. So system, you can uncheck this floppy, and the processor you can increase 1 or 2, and display you can go with the VBoxVGA, and the storage as it is. Network, the adapter 1 is going to be bridge adapter, adapter 2 is going to be bridge adapter, adapter 3 is going to be NAT adapter. As I said, adapter 1 is for my public internet, public network, and adapter 2 is going to be my private network, and adapter 3 is going to be for my internet, installing the RPMs or packages. So always you can click on the shared folder and click and browse your software folder, software directory in your D drive, wherever you are installed your software. You just browse that software directory, and then mount that software directory into your Linux box. So then click OK. Your VirtualBox setup is ready. So now you can try installing your Linux. So I will start with OEL5. So just start this one, and then it will ask you to browse your CD. So if you click on this browse, and this is my OEL5, so I'll just re-verify it. OEL5.8. My ISO image is going to be 31120-01. 31120-01. This is my ISO image, so I'm going to choose that one. Okay, so once you choose, so you will be prompted with the boot menu. So just click enter. So skip option. Okay, click next. Click next. Click next. So yes. So here you can go with the custom partitions here. Review and modify my layout. This is a custom partition. So click enter. Yes. Okay, so click on this boot and make this boot as 1,000. Click OK, and next click on this swap and make swap as 8,000. Make it 8,000. Click OK. Okay, 8,000 will not allow because of the RAM, so I'll go with the 5,000, and then remaining I will assign it for my root file system, and then click next. So click next, and network I'll edit it later once my installation is done. I'll just edit my uh, host name. It's going to be OEL5 node1.localdomain.com, and the timeline you can make it as Asia Kolkata, or whatever region you want. So give this root password. So here you no need to select anything here, but here you can see customized now. The RPM installation, you can just make it customized now, and then click next. So in the development libraries, development environment keep as it is, and in the application, okay, in the development libraries, okay, select this development libraries and select this development tools and select this Java development and select this X software development and go to this servers. Now servers, no need to select anything. In the base system, select this system tools, inside system tools, and click on this optional package, and there's a Oracle. All these Oracle packages you can install. This Oracle validated is the one, Oracle validated is the one, Oracle ASM, Oracle ASM, Oracle ASM, Oracle ASM support. All these Oracle packages you can install, and then in the cluster storage no need anything, and clustering no need anything, virtualization no need anything, and then click on next. Okay, so now it is checking for the dependencies, whatever the RPMs or whatever packages we selected right now. So for those packages, if there are any dependency packages or dependency RPMs are needed, so it is listing out everything, and once the list is ready, it will start installing those all RPMs. Okay, so now the installation, all the RPM selected, and click next, and it will start installing all the RPMs now. It will start to format all my root file system, boot file system. So now it is doing a format of root file system. Okay, starting the install process now. This installation of OS, it will take approximately around 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, see now it started installing all the RPMs. You can see here the RPM names, which RPM, which package it is installing. It will list out here. So we'll wait for a few minutes, and then we'll do the post installation steps. Okay, so the installation got completed and click reboot. This is going to be final reboot, and then after that we need to modify those guest additional RPMs and the prerequisites RPMs and then etc host files. Let it reboot. Okay, we got a welcome screen, and then we can click on this forward and accept this license agreement, and firewall you can disable it. Click yes, and SC Linux permissive or disable, you can do it. Permissive or disable, anything you can select. And kdum, just ignore it, and then forward time zone, just forward it. Create user, I don't want to create any user now. Forward and continue, and just click on forward and finish the installation. Okay, now we will be prompted with the login page. Okay, we got a login page, root user. I log in with the root user, and then now we will install the guest additional RPM. So for that, go here, and or else you can go here and select this guest additional 6.0.22, and then you will get this mounted here, and then you run this run um, auto run. Click on this auto run.sh, and select run in terminal, and then it will install my guest additional CD. So once we created a custom partition, we created a swap, and we are installing guest additional now, and we will proceed with the prerequisites RPMs. So prerequisites RPMs are like 11G, it is 11G release 2, and 12C it is going to be 12C release 1 and 12C release 2, and 18C it is going to be Oracle database pre install 18C, and Oracle database pre install 19C. So and then Oracle validated and bind RPMs and Oracle support. I hope for the OEL5 applicable RPM is only this Oracle validated RPM, and rest other RPMs are not applicable for OEL5, because this OEL 19C RPM is applicable to OEL7 and OEL8, and this 18C and 12C is applicable for OEL6, and this Oracle support is started with Oracle 6 onwards, so it is not supported in Oracle uh, uh, not supported in the sense this RPM will not be available for OEL6, OEL5, because it's already pre-built. We have selected during the installation of OEL5. So these are like generic RPMs, list of RPMs, and few are applicable to the few versions only. Like OEL5 only Oracle validated is applicable, and OEL6 this Oracle ASM support and bind RPMs, and this 12C and 11G is applicable. And for OEL7 this 18C and 12C and this Oracle support and this bind RPMs are applicable, and this Oracle validated is not applicable for OEL6 or OEL7, and OEL8. So these are the like overall list I put down here. So you try to install it all these RPMs, and whichever get installed, it's a good. Like whichever get not installed, it will be not available for that particular OS flavor. So let's see, once this get installed, we'll try to install that. So but OEL5, so one of the prerequisites is we need to set up a yum repository for OEL5. So this is Oracle master document. You need to do wget for this repository, because the OEL repository will not be comes by default. Okay, so the guest additional is installed, so I'll just click enter, and we will do the final reboot. I'll just close it and reopen it, and then we'll restart it. So guest additional CD is done, and then we'll proceed with the Linux prerequisites RPMs. So I think most of them are not applicable. Only this Oracle validated is the one applicable for OEL5. So we'll try to install and we'll see what's it's going to. But before installing these RPMs, you need to set up this yum repository for OEL5, because by default OEL public yum repository will not be set up. So you need to do wget and then download this public yum repository, and then later you can work with yum command. Now you can see the magic, like moment you install this guest additional CD image. So this smaller window is going to fit into my desktop screen. So this guest additional CD image is very important, and also it will allow me to copy paste between my notepad or my laptop or my desktop into my VM. So this guest additional is very important to install. Okay, so we got a welcome screen. So login screen, root, my password. Okay, so now what I will do, I will try to fit my screen size. Right, you can see I'm able to set my screen size whatever size I want. So I'll just a little more stretch it. So I think this is too much. So I'm going to reset it back to the old screen. Okay. Okay, this is looks good for me. So this is how you need to set it your screen. So now what I'll do, I'm going to try to install. I'll just show you use etc yum.repos.d. So here you won't see repository file. So for that you need to download this. But before that I will set up my IP addresses. Okay, there is no IP addresses right now. So what I'll do, I'll go to system and preferences and network. Okay, not a network proxy. So it's going to be system preferences, system administration and network. So you need to go with the Ethernet 0, edit, and OEL5 node 1 local domain. Okay, and then static IP address. You can allow user to connect. You just enable this one, and you can assign IP address 192.168.1.128. So how I entered this IP address, you need to go to your internet and properties and check your IPv4 address. It is 192.168.1. So you have to assign IP address in your internet range only. So 192.168.1 dot series only. So that is why I'm giving 192.168.1 dot and 128. So this fourth digit you can give anything. 192.168.1 it's going to be common as your internet, and then remaining you can give anything. So I'm giving 128, and subnet is going to be 255.255.255.0, and gateway you can leave it as it is. So just apply, and this is for Ethernet 0, and go to Ethernet 1 and edit and active this internet and allow for user connections and go to static, and this is going to be my private. So again 192.168 dot, instead of 1 I'm going to 2 here, 2.128. so this is going to be my private internet private network, 255.255.255.0, and gateway you can leave as it is. So just apply, and Ethernet 2 I'm going to make it as a allow user allow connection, and it is going to be DHCP. So just apply it and activate everything, and then it is activating now. Activate all these three interfaces. Okay, done. So this one last, activate Ethernet 1. So all three interfaces are active now. So I'll just do service network restart. So Ethernet, shutting down Ethernet 0 1 2 and starting up, bringing up Ethernet 0 and bringing up Ethernet 1 and bringing up Ethernet 2. Right, all three are done. Now if you do ifconfig, you will see public IP address 1.128 and private IP address 2.128, and this is going to be my DHCP. So if I do ping google.com, so it's going to ping and I'm able to access my internet. Right, so for that, now you need to go inside your repository, yum repository, and you need to do wget yum repository. So it's connected and it is downloaded my yum repository. If you see here, like public yum repository EL5 repo. So this repository file came here so that you can install any of these RPMs. I'll try with this 11G first. And then first it will download all my latest RPMs, EL5 latest RPMs, EL5 latest primary, and all the repository RPMs it is going to download and then keep it, create my local repository, and then whenever you install your RPMs, it will download it from the internet and then it will install it. Okay, if you can see here, like number of RPMs it is downloading here, 15,734 RPMs, EL5 latest RPM. So it is going to download, it will take quite time. This is one-time download activity. So for the first time, it will download all the RPM package list into yum repository, and then whenever you try to install next time any RPMs, it is not going to download the yum repository again. So it will just check in the repository if that RPM is available or not. If it is available, it will download it from the internet and it will install it. But this is for the very first time. It will take more time because it has to create its own repository. Okay, so it is still downloading the couple of RPMs, the repository RPMs. It is building up its own repository. So again, OEL5 UEK latest RPMs. Okay, so almost all the RPMs got installed. So now it checked for 11G pre-install RPM. It is not available. So I will check for the second RPMs. And this time it will not do yum repository. It will directly try to search RPM and install. Okay, it is not there. I'll go with the second 12C release 2 RPMs. That is also not available. I'll go with 18C. And 18C also not available. So I'll go with the 19C. So it depends upon the Linux version, right? It is OEL5, it is not available. So I'll just check for this Oracle validate. So I'm sure Oracle validate is available for OEL5. That's the only RPM is available as a prerequisites RPM. I'm sure about that. So it is setting up the install process now. Yeah, you can see it is find out. And the package is set to be updated. So it is going to update my Oracle validated package. So it is, see, it found out the latest version and it is installing it now. Yes. So it is updating Oracle validated RPM. So that is there. So I hope this blind RPM is not applicable for OEL5. So let's try it out. So then Oracle support also not applicable. Let's try that one also. So this bind RPMs are already default installed, but it is not going to update anything now. It is going to fail, I hope. So because I tried it earlier. Yep, it is erroring out, and package cleanup is found, and immutability package. So that is fine. I can ignore it. Okay, so Oracle ASM support is already installed and it is updating with the latest version. Yep. Fine then. So that is done. So these are the prerequisites RPM for the OEL5. So and then now prerequisite RPMs are done. Like now I'll proceed with the etc host. So for etc host, I already have my etc host file here. OEL5 node 1, node 2 are going to be my public IPs, and OEL5 node 1 private, OEL5 node 2 private are going to be my private IP addresses, and hyphen VIP, node 1 VIP and node 2 VIP are going to be my VIP virtual IP addresses, and these are going to be my scan IP addresses. So I'm going to set up this entry in my etc host, vi/etc hosts. I'm going to remove this entry. All right, so I'm going to add those entries. I'll copy one by one, public, and now private and virtual, and now scan. Okay, all four I copied. cat/etc hosts. Okay, now my cat etc file host is fine, so I will shut down this VM. Okay, so just to brief whatever we did for OEL5, so we created OEL5 node 1 VM configuration, and then on that we selected three network adapter, bridge and NAT adapter, and we set the display as a VBoxVGA, and in the general section we selected as a bidirectional because copy paste between my VM to my laptop or desktop, it is going to work out if we select a bidirectional. And in the shared drive I selected my software directory and I mounted that as a software directory inside my VM. So then in the installation of OEL5, we selected the three network as a public and internet for these three network adapters. And at this swap, we made it as a 400 MB, and at a boot partition we made it as a 1000 MB, and as a root partition we created we given rest all the space. And after that we installed guest additional CD. So after guest additional CD, we did a reboot of our VM. Right, I'll just write it reboot. We just did a reboot of our VM after guest additional, and then we just install m repository using this MOS document inside etc.repos.d. We did a wget and downloaded this public m repository 5. So and then after that we installed a couple of RPMs. So I hope only we install this Oracle ASM support and Oracle, but rest others are not applicable for OEL5, and rest other things are applicable for OEL6 and OEL7. So then we added our etc host configuration file with public, private, and virtual and scan IPs. So that's it about the OEL5. Let's start with the OEL6 installation now. Yeah, it is starting Oracle Linux Server 7.8.